The City of Neenah is pleased to provide video recordings of City Council meetings. Neenah residents can get information about City Council meetings, City Committee meetings, meeting agendas, and other documents from the City website, www.neenahgov.org. Neenah residents can express their opinions about city issues by contacting the mayor's office, contacting their city alderman, or completing the electronic feedback form on the city website. All public portions of the meetings are recorded in entirety and are not edited.
All right, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Everyone's attention. Wonderful. We'll start with a roll call. Clerk Nagel.
Council President Steiner.
Here.
Councilman Bruno.
Here.
Erickson.
Here.
Linsky.
Here.
Defferting.
Present.
Newman.
Here.
Paulnow.
Here.
Ellis.
Here.
And Weber is excused.
All right. Alderman Newman, can you start the Pledge of Allegiance for us?
Yes. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Before we get started, I just want to, for those that are out there and watching and everything, we are embarking on a new adventure with our new software. So bear with us. We're going to kind of make sure we work out any kinks. Your patience is greatly appreciated. So as we work through it. All right. We'll start off with the 2025 Annual Comprehensive Financial Report managed by Director Adder of Baker Tilly.
Okay, thank you very much for having me here this evening. And as I go through the materials, I'm going to spend most of the time on the financial highlights. But as I go through them, ask me questions if you have any, or you can wait to the end. This group has always been good about asking some questions during this presentation. So before I hit on this, I want to touch on a couple of quick administrative items. The audit went very well this year. It always seems to go well when we come here, and I say that for a variety of reasons. When we show up, Vicki, Andy, Amber, everybody else that we work with in the various departments are very well prepared. And if you've never been through an audit, first of all, congratulations. Second of all, it's a lot of work. We ask for a lot of different things, and to make sure that we get what we need to work through the audit as efficiently as possible. So they do a wonderful job of pulling things together for us. They're very responsive. The other thing is we didn't have any material entries this year. And I sound like a broken record because I've been saying that for the last 3 to 4 years when I come here. And that's really unique. We usually have, I kind of use a benchmark of 10 or fewer as a really good audit. And to not have any is really exceptional. So it's not only good for the audit, it's also good for your budgeting as you're heading into that season. You can rely on those financial records. It's also good for the department heads. So when they're looking at their budget to actuals and looking at budgetary compliance, you can rely on those as well. So that says a lot about the state of your records. The other thing is we issue what we call an unmodified opinion. It's a clean opinion. It means your financial statements are prepared according to generally accepted accounting principles or GAAP. And there's about just over 100 rules, accounting pronouncements that you have to adhere to these days. So that's a pretty high bar. There weren't any material changes, no new GASBs this year that had an impact on your financial statements. So they gave us a bit of a break. The last thing I want to mention is we issued our final opinion on May 22nd this year. That's actually about a week earlier than last year. I've been working with the city for a number of years, and we used to get it out at the very end of June, just kind of making it. You've really kind of dialed that back, which is great for everybody involved. You don't have to file extensions or anything like that. We've got a good process in place to make sure that there's no urgent kind of situations. Definitely want to keep that going. Okay, I'm going to shift to talking about the numbers. So these are financial highlights that are very similar to what we prepared in the past. We find that they're a lot easier than flipping through all the pages of the financial statements, but I will refer to a couple pages. So these first two slides are focused on your general fund, which, as you know, the city has a lot of different funds, but the general fund is the primary operating fund. It's where most of the department's activities reside or run through, most of the tax dollars and other things too. So there's a big focus on the results of this. And the best way to look at it is, what does it have in fund balance or equity at the end of the year? And one of the accounting rules, number 54, says here's how you break it down. There's 5 different categories, of which the city has 3. So I'm going to actually start at the very bottom here. These light blue bars, you can barely see the bottom one because there's hardly anything in there. But the light blue ones are 2025. The black is 2024. So again, at the bottom, non-spendable. That is just at 11,000, so hardly anything. That's made up of prepaids. You can't spend prepaid, so the accounting rules are GAAP, so you got to show that as non-spendable. Nothing in restricted or committed, and then in assigned, you can see that's 457,000. Again, not a big, doesn't really comprise a big balance of it, of the total fund balance, but what makes that up is primarily what you've applied for this year's operating budget, $319,000. And then a small amount for carry forwards and some amounts that are tracked for the library. Everything else falls into this upper category of what we call unassigned. It's $6 million. It's up $288,000 from last year. And that's the category you want most of your fund balance to be in, because it's liquid. It allows you to make be flexible with decisions, whether it's budgeting or whatever it may be. Overall, your fund balance went up $362,000, and that's that top bar, but it's also summarized in this really high level income statement right here in the middle. And so you actually budgeted last year to spend down the fund balance in 2025 by about $342,000 after amendments and other things are being factored in here. So the revenues came in just a little bit over budget, $108,000. And that was driven primarily through revenue associated with permits, building permits and such. But the big driver was investment income. You wisely budgeted conservatively for this, as a lot of places do, and it came in about $421,000 over. So that's what really contributed to the rise in the general fund's fund balance this year. Expenditures, they were also under $595,000. Some departments are over, some are under. A lot of the detail can be found in the back of the city's financial statements on pages 68, 71. But a couple departments that stood out were police, parks, and library. Those are all under this year. So if we take that same analysis of focusing on fund balance and we plot it out here for the last 5 years, this gives you an idea of the direction the general fund has been going. Because in government finances, you really want to focus not so much where do we land at the end of the year, but what are we seeing in trends. And so we try to point that out here, like I said, for the last 5 years. So it doesn't quite squeeze onto the screen, so I'll move around. But without the city having a fund balance policy at the end of the year, what we've done is presented what is that unassigned fund balance compared to your expenditures. In other words, how long can you continue to pay the bills if you didn't collect anything else? And that red line is what that represents. So 21%, just over 2 months worth. However, there's a big caveat here. The way the city has structured their funds, you have what's called an internal service fund. It's your benefit accrual fund that many other municipalities track that activity within the general fund. But ever since I've been coming here, it's been pulled out, you fund it, you accrue the benefits. And so if we combine that with the general fund, which I think is an appropriate way to look at it, you're up at 39%, okay? A lot of places I audit that do have a policy will put that, it varies, but it's 25 to 35%, I think is fairly common. You can see other places we audit in the mid-40s, okay? So if you had something similar, you would be right in that range when those two funds are pulled together, okay? The other thing I want to point out on here, like I said at the outset, it's been trending upwards for the last 4 years, okay? Which is a good financial indicator. All right, so taking a look at debt. So this is general obligation debt. And that black line represents what your what your debt limit is, which is in the state of Wisconsin, 5% of your equalized value. So that actually has been inching upward nicely for the last 5 years. It's up 8.1% this year compared to 2024. The red line is your general obligation debt, your GO debt, and that is up as well by 2.1 million. So if you calc this out, it comes out to 49% of your debt capacity is being utilized. That in the last 3 years has been in the range of 52 to 57. So it has gone down. This varies widely from municipality to municipality. If you have outstanding GO debt associated with TIFs, which you do, that has an impact, especially in the early life of a TIF. Also, if you have outstanding GO debt associated with utility funds, which you do, that also gets put into here. If we took out the debt that's outstanding in the utility funds, the GO debt, this ratio would not be 49%, it would be 42%. Okay. Here's a breakdown of where that debt resides that I was just talking about. The utility funds also have revenue debt, and then the CDA also has leased revenue bonds that were issued a number of years ago. Those have been kind of inching down a little bit more slowly the last couple of years. They're due to be paid off in 2032, so about 6 years away. That is for TIF 8. One more slide on debt. Now we're taking a look at how much does the city pay in principal interest for governmental debt compared to the rest of its governmental expenditures. And that's at 24, just south of 25%. You can see it's been pretty consistent from year to year. That shows good debt management. It's a little bit higher than some other places that we audit based upon population in Wisconsin. But obviously you've got it under control. And again, those TIFs, those very active TIFs play into this as well. All right, then we have 3 slides, one for each of your utility funds. And the first is taking a look at the water utility. And this is, as you probably are aware, the one fund that is regulated by the Public Service Commission, the PSC here in the state of Wisconsin. So they set an authorized rate for the city a number of years ago of 7.5%. That's a fairly common rate that we do see. This line graph shows your revenues for the last 5 years in green, and then your black line here represents the expenses. And as you can see every year, because of that spread between those, that's a positive operating margin that has existed, which is what you want. As expenses start to inch upward, as they do in a lot of water utilities, that's one thing to keep an eye on rates. But this has been pretty consistent over the last 5 years. The expenses are up a little bit this year, and that's primarily due to some higher maintenance costs that ran through there. These aren't annual kind of costs. They're kind of periodically recurring. I think that's for some lime sludge removal costs that ran through there. Another way to look at the health of this water utility fund are the unrestricted reserves. So this is really cash. And so you can have restricted cash and unrestricted cash, depending if there's outstanding revenue bonds, of which there is nothing in this fund. So everything is unrestricted. You generally want to keep 6 rating agencies that are apparently looking for 6 to 12 months of unrestricted cash. You're at 13, almost 14 months. So it's in good shape. 3 months of that are really for liquidity purposes. Another 6 to 9 for unanticipated capital needs that could hit this fund. Debt coverage is an analysis associated with revenue bonds. You are in compliance every year from 2021 through 2024. You have zeros here for 25 because, like I said, those revenue bonds were paid off during 2025. And at the very bottom, all these funds are very capital intensive. And so that we can do a calculation to show how much of that plant or capital has been financed through earnings versus debt. And if, as you have here, 100% is through earnings because there is no outstanding debt. That's really good. We always recommend to try to keep that about 50% or more. And so at 100%, there's obviously no concern. Sewer is the next one here. So no regulatory issues to look at here. But you can see both revenues and expenses are up just a little bit. Again, the green line being the revenue. So therefore, the margin, as you can see, between each one of the years, especially the last couple of years, has definitely narrowed, which has also impacted the amount of unrestricted reserves down here. You can see they've gone from about 6.8 down to 3.2. So again, rating agencies for this type of fund are generally looking for around 6 months. You have dipped below that, but new rates are in effect in 2026. So I would expect that to go back up. Your investment in capital, because there is outstanding debt for this, not like the water fund, but still no concerns. You're definitely well above that 50%. You're sitting at 65%. And lastly, for the stormwater fund, in 2025, you can see the expenses or the revenues far exceeded expenses. I would say the last 2 years' results are more typical of a stormwater fund. There was a blip going back to 2023 because of an internal audit that determined some of the, there was some issues with the ERUs, so there was a refund or rebate going back to some of those payers in the past, so that caused that downward. But otherwise, you can see you're back up to where it historically has been. Unrestricted reserves for this one, down from the previous year. But that's due to some capital that hit that fund without being financed through debt, just use available cash, which I've seen that a lot for stormwater funds. They go up, they come down a little bit, but overall you've been quite steady. And then debt coverage, there are some outstanding revenue bonds here, but you're well above compliance that's required for those. And your investment in capital here is at 79%. So again, no issues. The other report that we issue is, you might have it part of your packet, is the reporting and insights. And this points out a lot of different things. It'll look very similar if you look between municipalities, even different firms as far as a lot of the language. There's required communications in here. We talk about GASB's or accounting rules that are implemented, new ones coming up. There are things in here like if they were of concern, we would have to mention it to you, like we came across fraud or disagreements with management. There's nothing of that nature in here. The area that probably draws the most attention, though, is the internal control matters. I think it's on page 6, and there's a description of that, but they're...
You all have the book in front of you.
They do. Okay, great. That's good to hear. Thank you, Vicki. And one thing that's unique in there as well is you don't have any findings. I mean, there's nothing in there that rose to that level of material weakness, significant deficiency, or control deficiency, which again is really unique. It's because we haven't had entries here for years. We do prepare the city's financial statements, but with the strength of the finance team here reviewing your financials, we feel like any departures from GAAP or anything would be noticed by you internally. And both Vicki and Andy have previous experience working on financials too. So we don't have many audits like that for our governmental group throughout the country. I'd say less than 5%. So that's a pretty high bar that you've achieved. So I'm going to pause, see if anybody has any questions for me.
Are there any tweaks that you think we could make that should come to light from what you're seeing, or should we hold a steady course?
Well, from a financial standpoint, I think, and Vicki and I have talked about this, I think creating additional policies, which I know the city is in the process of doing, I think that would be a good move with flexibility. You know, don't hold yourselves to something that's going to be hard to achieve or not give you, again, that flexibility you need based upon different situations. So I think that is probably a good move going forward. You know, the more you can, I wouldn't say this is a problem, but the more you can centralize things, and the city's always done a nice job, you have to serve the public. But keeping in mind, the more you can centralize collection points, you know, even grant administrations and things of that nature, the better. For a lot of reasons, efficiencies and controls and all those different factors. But that's not unique to Neenah. But again, you have to always balance that with being able to serve the public. Otherwise, nothing comes to mind. That's a great question, though.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, any other further questions or any more presentations?
Okay, I think that's it. So thank you very much for having us.
Well, thank you for your report. At this point, I would entertain a motion to receive and place on file.
So move.
Okay, let's do it through your devices here. All right. Okay, there's been a motion, and I want to make sure I saw that motion.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Okay. That was a motion by Alderman Ellis. Okay. And I'll take a second.
I will second.
Okay. Alderman Bruno, seconds.
Are you doing it to the thing, or?
All right. Please indicate your vote on your voting computer now.
Okay,
All right. Approved 8-0.
I voted. And then you, okay. You're good.
I just want to let people know that the ACFR or the financials are on the back table if anyone would like a copy, and I have extras in my office, but I wasn't sure how many wanted a copy or not.
All right. Thanks, everybody. All right. Before I forgot to mention, the gentleman sitting to my left, Attorney Grant Birch is filling in for David Rashid today. So just in case you have any legal questions or you want to try to stump him, be gentle so he comes back, please. So I appreciate you being here. Thank you. Yeah. All right, moving on to partial reports for standing committees. Report of the regular Finance and Personnel Committee meeting of June 8th. Chairman Erickson.
Okay, hang on a second.
No
I
problem.
gotta get back. Okay. Reporting out from the Finance and Personnel Committee meeting of June 8th. Item number 1, the committee recommends council approve Resolution 2026-04, authorizing the issuance and establishing parameters for the sale of not to exceed $16,845,000 general obligation promissory notes, Series 2026A, and I so move.
There's been a motion by Chairman Erickson. Is there a second?
Second?
There's been a second by Alderman Polnow. Any discussion?
I have a point of order. I just have a quick question. Where do we do the motions on our computer?
The new system doesn't allow the motions to show who made them and who doesn't. It's part of the package.
So we don't have to select that?
No.
Okay.
So when I open up the voting, though, you're able to vote yes, no, or abstain.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, I'll recognize their voices. All right, any further discussion on this? Good question. All right, seeing none, please indicate your vote. All right, motion passes.
Item number 2, the committee recommends council approve Resolution 2026-05, authorizing the issuance and establishing parameters for the sale of not to exceed $2,850,000 taxable general obligation promissory notes, Series 2026B, and I so move.
Second.
There's been a motion by Chairman Erickson and second by Alderman Ellis. Any discussion? Seeing none, indicate your vote.
And that concludes my report.
Thank you for your report, and thank you, gentlemen, for coming in. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right. No confirmation of any appointments so far. Any objection to unanimous consent for the approval of minutes proceedings June 3rd, 2026? Any objection? Seeing none, Unanimous consent. Okay, we'll open up the public forum. Speakers must state their name, residential address, and are allowed 5 minutes to speak on any topic. Speakers should give their name and residential address. Speakers are allowed 5 minutes to speak on their topic. Anyone from the public? Come on down.
Well, hello. Good evening, Mayor Borchard, City Council, and staff. I'm Frank Cuthbert, residing at 1533 Fallow Drive in Neenah. I am here representing the Friends of Neenah to speak to you about one of the items that's on the council agenda, the purchasing of software called Better Impact. I spoke at the finance meeting, but for the benefit of all, I'd like to tell you what the software does and what it will do for the city. Friends of Neenah is a volunteer organization that's goal is to organize volunteering throughout the city. This software is the tool that can organize volunteering events by allowing residents to sign up through the city's website, track volunteer hours, maintain a database of our volunteers, keep records of liability waivers and background checks, and provide anyone who's interested in participating with a wide variety of opportunities throughout the year, all in one location on the city website. Currently within the city, including the library, Doty Island Community Partnerships, the Carpenter Preserve volunteer groups, and others, we have close to 200 volunteers. But because we don't have an organization or structure to schedule and track events formally, we can never predict how many people are going to show up. Better Impact will provide the city with that organizational structure. Something else that I would like to point out, from the most recent national estimate, a volunteer hour is worth about $34.79. This figure is based on the average hourly earnings from the U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics. So far, just this year, volunteers have shelved thousands of books, planted trees and flowers, cut and mulched paths in the parks, poured concrete slabs for benches, installed signs, and removed trash and debris from our shorelines. We pay our volunteers only with free coffee and donuts and a sincere thank you. So please allow us to move forward by approving the purchase of this software. Thank you. And when it does come up, Lisa Roebuck and myself are available for questions. So thank you.
Any other public forum issues anyone wish to speak on? Okay, seeing none. All right. Any council member or anyone wish to speak on any of the, or what was brought up? Okay, seeing none. Moving on to the consent agenda. Any objection to unanimous consent on the consent agenda? Seeing none. Approved. All right, moving on to our standing committees. Regular Public Services and Safety Committee meeting of June 9th. Chairman Weber is out, so Vice Chairman Paul now.
Thank you, Mayor. Reporting out for the Public Service and Safety Committee on June 9th, 2026. The minutes can be found on the city website. I'd make a motion. The committee recommends council approve ordinance 2026-11, repealing and replacing Chapter 11, Article 4, Section 11-86, sale and discharge of fireworks restricted, and I would so move for approval.
Moved by Alderman Paul now. Is there a second?
Second.
Alderman by second Newman. Sorry. Seconded by Alderman Newman. Thank you. Any discussion on this? Any discussion? Just a thank you to Chief for your work on this. I know this has been a long time coming and appreciate that work you put into it. So, all right, please indicate your vote on your voting device. All right. Motion is approved 7-1.
Committee recommends council approve Nicolay Boulevard roundabout intersection control evaluations, intermunicipal agreement between the city of Neenah and the city of Menasha. I would so move.
Second.
Got a motion by Alderman Paulnow, seconded by Alderman Ellis. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, please indicate your vote. All right, motion is approved, 8-0.
Thank you, Mayor. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Alderman Paulnow. Moving on to regular Finance Personnel Committee meeting of June 8th. Chairman Erickson.
Thank you, Mayor. Reporting out from the regular Finance and Personnel Committee meeting of June 8th. Item number 1, the committee recommends council approve the First Amendment to the Solaris on Main Development Agreement, and I so move.
And second?
There's been a motion and a second. Any discussion? Oh, I'm sorry, by Alderman Bruno and Alderman Erickson. Okay, any discussion on this? Okay, seeing none, please indicate your vote. Motion is approved, 8-0.
Item number 2, the committee recommends council approval of purchase and implementation of Better Impact Volunteer Management Software for the Friends of Neenah Volunteer Program at a cost not to exceed $3,945, funded from the remaining ARPA interest earnings, with future annual subscription and maintenance costs to be included in the Information System Department operating budget, and I so move.
Second.
There's been a motion by Alderman Erickson, second by Alderman Ellis. Any discussion? Any questions?
Mayor?
Yep, I know, I just want to say, did you click yours?
I did.
Okay, I just wasn't able to see it, so.
Okay.
Alderman Paul.
I'm fully supportive of this software. I'm just curious, the vetting process that went into this, because typically we bring, IT brings these through and there's vetting our departments. So why was this software package selected and who all was involved in that vetting process? Was there?
Sure.
Okay.
Come on up.
I was involved in the process. I was the only one that did it. I searched out Better Impact, and then I looked at Salesforce, and then I looked at a thing called Civic Champs. And after speaking with other volunteer coordinators in the area, it was decided that Better Impact is the right way to go. It's been around for a long time. It's not, Salesforce is the most expensive, then Better Impact, and then Civic Champs, but Civic Champs has only been around for like 2 to 3 years, so it's not super, not a lot of people have used it, so Better Impact was the way to go.
So Salesforce, if I remember, that's more of a CRM, is that correct?
Yeah.
Is this considered a lower end CRM or?
I don't have an answer for that.
Okay.
It's just, it has a whole platform on how you can, let me backtrack. One company that uses it locally is St. Joe's Food Pantry. So there's a way that you can have all of the volunteers in there, and then if you need to put out a request for people to come in, you can just put it out and people can sign up, whereas now I'm the volunteer coordinator at the library. If I need people to fill positions, I have to email everybody and say, hey, I have these positions, can you email me back? And then they email me back. It's just a lot of back and forth. This is going to be, and it's all going to be in one spot too, where I have several different documents right now where everything is located.
So this software, I mean, maybe it's IT. Is this software going to be housed on a Neenah server then internally to the city?
I believe it's cloud-based.
Okay.
And then I do want to also mention that they are getting a scholarship to cover the $695 implementation fee too, so we'll have less of.
Okay, and then, but the responsibility for moving forward will be the city IT department, as I understand it?
Yep.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Any further questions? Oh, yes, Alderman Defferding.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm also fully supportive of this too. I just wanted to know, like, exactly what, like, what this covers. Is it just something for, like the public parks, or is it for all nonprofits located within the city of Neenah? And, is there going to be like a network of that being created? If so?
So if I may. Sure. So the vision right now is to have this to be actually part of the city, so it would be included on the city website. We've already gone and talked with the various departments, including police, fire, finance. So within the city departments, volunteers can actually volunteer for positions. Fingerprinting, I didn't realize that you could volunteer for fingerprinting. So there's going to be a whole resource of various events within the city and things that you can do within the city, as well as between the library and, like I was saying, Doty Island Community Partnerships and all of these other volunteering groups which are scattered throughout the city. We want to organize them, and if we can have other future Neenah or somebody put their information on the website, it's going to be one place where everybody can go and look and sign up. Right now, the way we sign up people is when they come, we have a clipboard, and it's all very manual. So this is a huge step forward for us.
Okay, that's great. I think that's great. Is so it sounds like there could, upon this, there will be some outreach to a lot of those organizations just to show them that we have this like launching pad for them.
Yes, that's the goal.
Okay.
We want to be fully prepared and operational first. We don't want to have a failure to launch, so to speak. So
Yeah.
That's why we're trying to get the software together. Lisa's learning the software, and then we're putting our volunteer groups in, what we've collected so far, hours and a database of names together first, make sure everything works, and then we'll launch it from there.
All right, excellent. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
Our goal will be to scale it up to make sure, work out the kinks and the bugs. And once we do that, we'll be doing a full launch, if you will. So you'll see a media blitz. You'll see events where people can sign up and show how to do it. And as we start to populate those things, it's got a lot of potential to, I've asked a lot of the department heads to take a look at the costs associated with, and I'll use the example, I may have shared it before, but we spent the time planting at Doty Island. And Mike Kading, Director Kading, just thought roughly about $1,500 we saved in costs because people came out and volunteered to do those things. I really want to track that because then it justifies things like this. So we'll be able to do that. But yeah, we'll make sure that everyone in the city knows that they have the opportunity to do these volunteer efforts, and I see some real great positives with that.
Excellent. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, please indicate your vote. All right, approved, 8-0. Number 3. Chairman Erickson, can you see it?
Oh, I'm sorry. Item number 3, the committee recommends council approve the adjustments to the pay rates of 3 mechanics effective July 1st, 2026, and I so move.
There's been a motion by Erickson, seconded by Alderman Bruno. Any discussion? Alderman Paul now.
Thank you, Mayor. Are you seeing, I hit request to speak. Am I doing it right?
I can't see it, but I trust you.
Okay. I just want to make sure things working. Director Barber, can you come down and I just want to follow up our conversation, more of big picture, because we've had some trials and tribulations lately overall. Can you convey to me kind of what we had discussed, your long-term and or short-term vision of how to kind of get us back maybe in a path that we could all think is a better
Sure.
path?
So the concern that we discussed was related to these items coming forward kind of piecemeal, one at a time, versus a comprehensive solution to some of the issues that we have. And I agree, this is not ideal. We have some significant issues in a number of areas to fix. We're picking off some of the most egregious that can be afforded to fix this year relatively easily, and that are causing issues with either retention or recruitment, and we've pulled those first. After speaking, I looked at, just so this group is aware, all of the areas that we have issues with within our compensation system. We have internal equity issues related to the ratio of the number of years people have been here and the step they're in. We've got market pay issues, which we've kicked off that review, so that's being looked at. We have people who are potentially in the wrong classification for their position, need to be regraded. We have some employees, like in this memo, who were started significantly below the market rate incorrectly. And then we have the issue of the previous goal of getting employees to midpoint or the market within a specific amount of time, which was 7 years, is not happening. So what my goal is to come back to you yet this summer with a summary of what exactly does all of this mean, what are the steps we can take to fix each of these areas, and what's a plan to get there. It's not feasible really in this budgetary climate to get these all completely fixed financially. They all will cost money, not save us money. So, but as I have done with other issues, I can propose you move to 70% of where we should be at in year 1, and then 80% in year 2, those types of solutions. So I will get something more comprehensive together to hopefully bring this forward in a way that makes more sense to move through.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, please indicate your vote. Motion approved, 8-0. Moving on to the reports of special committees and layouts and various special project committees. Plan Commission was canceled. Moving on to the Board of Public Works. Vice Chairman Ellis.
Thank you, Mayor. Board recommends to the council award contract 6-26, epoxy pavement markings to Century Traffic in the amount of $74,850, and I would so move.
Moved by Alderman Ellis.
Second.
Second by Alderman Paul now. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, please indicate your votes. All right, motion approved, 8-0.
That concludes my report.
Thank you for your report. Report from the Business Improvement District, Alderman Bruno.
Thank you, Mayor. So the Business Improvement District Board met yesterday, Tuesday, June 16. No regular meeting that day, but our annual walking tour to discover what is new in downtown. So first, artist Leif Larsson is working right now on a mural on the side of Greenspoor House. So if you didn't already have a look, I encourage you to do so, and it should be completed by June 25. Otherwise, we have new black benches sponsored, blue flower planters, new ones, summer banners, and a patriotic pedestrian alley. So our downtown is beautiful right now. Save the dates. The summer kickoff concert was rescheduled from last week to yesterday, and our next evening concert is planned on Wednesday, June 24 at Chattock Park, 6 to 8 p.m. Our first lunch concert at Chattock Park is tomorrow, Thursday 18, finger crossed for the weather, of course, 11:30 to 1 p.m., featuring the Pocket Kings. The farmer market started last Saturday, and we'll be back next Saturday and Saturday and Saturday. And that concludes my report.
Thank you for your report. All right, moving on to the report from the library. Alderman Erickson.
Thank you, Mayor. The Neenah Library Board of Trustees met today at 4 o'clock, and I'd like to update you on some of the youth activities. Summer lunches are being served at the library during the month of June and July. And we have a new Neenah's neighborhood, which is a room right off of the youth area that is sponsored by the American Animal Hospital of Neenah. and they donated all the money and many of the vet supplies for the new animal clinic, which the kids can play in. So that is really something for the kids to do. Summer Reading Challenge, the signups are up from last year. As of June 8th, we have 814 signups, more than that same date last year. The Summer Library Challenge kickoff was yesterday, and that was very successful. And there is an adult summer reading challenge. So adults out there, if you would like to sign up for the Summer Adult Reading Challenge, if you read, you have a chance to earn some new socks from the library. So that's cool. As always, we are doing very well with programming. Please visit the Neenah Public Library website, and as always, check out some books. Thank you.
All right, thank you for your report. How about Neenah Arts Council, Alderman Erickson?
Thank you, Mayor. The Neenah Arts Council met last Wednesday, June 10th. We plan to be at the Farmers Market for Kids Day this Saturday. So we are going to be highlighting the Neenah Lighthouse with our art projects. We have two art projects planned. And then following that, we will be at Community Fest on July 4th. And so come and check out the art projects at that as well. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you for your report. On to Landmarks Commission, Alderman Bruno.
Thank you, Mayor. So the Landmark Commission met last Wednesday, June 10. We have now 3 subcommittees were organized to manage our 3 main projects for the year. First, the review of our ordinance. Second, a new historic property inventory and a grant application. And the third project, the organization of the history tour on Wisconsin Avenue with the horse-drawn wagon on September 12th. And that concludes my report.
Thank you for your report. Any petitions?
No petitions.
Any council directives? None? Any unfinished business? Any new business? Okay, real quick, I have some piece. I know that there had been some question about the refresh or the remodel of the mayor's office. So I wanted to kind of give you a little quick update. When I got in to the office, I was asked by Pat Benson if I would be interested in sprucing up the office a little bit. I said, okay, and Pat took off running, and I asked a little bit about budget and whatnot, and he said he's got it taken care of. And Vicki came in, as I always ask her to do, and she asked, so where's it coming from? How are you going to pay for it? And we walk through the process. It's not to exceed the $10,000 or anything that would require council approval to be in a CIP or whatever it might be. In fact, I think it's probably going to be less than $6,000 coming out of the maintenance budget that Pat had in his budget to do so. So we are putting in painted walls. I bought a ergonomic desk, and we are doing carpet. So if you are interested, on Friday we'll be pulling up carpet, so if you have any ideas, you can come and help me and Pat do that. I just want to be very clear. I mean, I ran on the idea that I'm going to be super transparent, so if you have any questions or wondering about these things, rather than hearing them everywhere else, come and see me. I'm not hiding anything. I'm not trying to put anything over. That's what I ran on, and that's what I'm going to do, and that's how that's going to run from the office here. So any other questions, feel free. The door is always open. So. All right. I will entertain a motion to enter into closed session.
So move.
There's a motion by Ellis.
Second.
Second by Alderman Paul now. All right. So for anyone that is visiting, we will be in closed session. So we'll take a quick 2 minutes to clear the room and then close her up.
Can you vote on that motion,
Oh, sorry.
please?
Apologize.
Thank
Yes.
you.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Seeing none.
The City of Neenah is pleased to provide video recordings of City Council meetings. Neenah residents can get information about City Council meetings, City Committee meetings, meeting agendas, and other documents from the City website, www.neenahgov.org. Neenah residents can express their opinions about city issues by contacting the mayor's office, contacting their city alderman, or completing the electronic feedback form on the city website. All public portions of the meetings are recorded in entirety and are not edited.